morning, everybody. It's been a pleasant yesterday. We had some interesting discussions. We heard of panels. We had Mr. Narkar talk about how IDFC is bringing the bank to a different paradigm. We heard how Ritesh is talking about challenging convention when everybody is moving towards mobility and talking about mobiles. He's saying, there's still the bottom of the pyramid which needs to be addressed. And that's truly conventional thinking. Mobile phones come as a category killer for more than 40 such product ideas which no longer really exist or have to exist. For all you know, another few years, mobiles themselves may not exist. It could be something totally different. So we have to continue to brace for such changes. And that's what is that's where we are, at the cusp of innovation today. So our focus is mostly on how digital solutions and artificial intelligence is going to change the way how we operate in the world of banking today, or what we call as the big shift. Now, just before I move on, I'd like to thank Mr. Basin. You set a fantastic stage for me to take the discussion forward. We truly believe in everything that we just heard this morning. We have solutions in the same space. We operate in the same space. There's nothing really that you could contrast as to why things should be radically different. What I would like to do is take that opportunity to take that stage a little further, take the context a little further, and talk about why things have to be radically different and we have to continue to evolve. But just before that, what I'd like to do is give a brief introduction about what we do. We are a 20-year-old company. We have been in this space. We've been serving international customers, domestic customers. We have a lot of customers on our core banking solutions, on anti-money laundering solutions. We have our digital solutions as well. And then as we move on, this is really where we are today. But what's important for us to understand is, where is the world headed towards? If I just look at where we were about 15, 20 years back, I remember people carrying a phone like a Star Trek mobile phone, a big phone, probably bigger than the cordless of today, and that was the wow factor. Today, smartphones are completely different. More so, how many people were really accessing mobile phones then, or digital channels then, versus today? If I look at this, the summary is 2/3 of the population today are available who can actually go onto those channels, whereas 1/3 are actively using. And that's really the reason why we have to start thinking solutions for the next generation. Are we all going to be happy with the solutions that we have today? We were very happy with static information. I start my day, I know there's a flight I have to board 4 hours from now. I'm very happy when I leave. I reach the airport, I get to know the flight is delayed by an hour. In today's world, is this going to be an acceptable solution? Absolutely not. I go to an ATM to withdraw cash, assuming I'm still believing in a cash economy. And only when I go to the ATM, I get to know there's no money in the dispensing machine. How bad is on behalf of the ATM service provider to not have cash, or not having notified the bank of having a need to replenish cash in the machine? What if I as a customer knew that beforehand? That's what we are talking about. And that's what I think is the need of the hour. Customers are very smart. They're empowered. They need to be engaged today. And technology is there today for all of us to focus on that, to give them this right set of things to enable them. While we say that, our core backbone of our financial services systems have to be in place. NPCI is doing what it has to do. We heard Mr. Basin, how it's moving from 3 nines and the 4 nines to 5 nines. That's the backbone. We are hearing all the banks talking about how their backbone is changing to serve the customers in the best possible way. That's why improving our operations from a technology standpoint, from your internal operations standpoint, is extremely important. And the reality of the matter is, we have legacy systems to support. Bimodal is the need of the hour. You cannot just throw away legacy systems because you're invested into it, because they serve a purpose. They dole out solutions and meet your customer needs. Today, customers are happy, but will they continue to be happy with those legacy systems? No. They come with their limitations. They come with their own challenges of what they can actually suffice in terms of the needs of the customer today. Do you think an 18-year-old will be happy with the service that a 60-year-old gentleman got from the bank a few years back? Absolutely not. I remember a time when going to the bank with my grandfather used to be an event. Take a shower, get ready, wear a pair of new clothes, walk into the bank. Today, I walk into the bank, I see a gentleman who's probably not even 20. He walks in with rugged jeans or a pair of shorts in his slippers, hair absolutely combed the way it is done today. But that's the customer of today. That's the customer who's going to be banking with you tomorrow. We have to be changing all of that. And how do you know what they need? How do you know what is their interest? They spend more time on WhatsApp than anything else today. How do you know what is it that they would be interested in knowing tomorrow? For all of that, we have to make sure we start moving from where we are to where we want to be to serve these customers. Legacy is here for us to stay. Modernization adoption is something that we all are doing. Most of the banks today, most of us here are already on this journey for digital transformation. But what we really have to be focused on is innovation. We have to start thinking about how can artificial intelligence give us answers to questions that we don't even know that exist today. We have to continue to challenge convention. We have to look for patterns of information, and they are there. If Ritesh talks about 20 billion rupees worth of business from a solution, which was very new, I'm sure there was so much of thinking gone behind that. And now he has the data to prove why that's a viable business model. How does that knowledge come from? We have a customer who's being accessed through 5 different products from the bank. Isn't that immense amount of information to know what a customer is doing? Why not we give them the 6th product? Or why don't we combine those 5 into 3 products? It's all up to how we use the information we have. If we have millions of transactions on a daily basis for a bank like SBI, imagine the wealth of data that we're capturing about customers, about what they do, how they do. All we have to do is start applying that into our next generation of products, applying that into next generation of solutions that we have to provide to the customers. So what's really important then? Big data? Well, we've been talking about big data for several years now. Everybody knows big data is all about variety, veracity, velocity, volume. But what about big data really? There are so many things that we need to know. As a bank or as a financial service institution, I need to be able to use that data and present a product and offer services that's meaningful to my customer. I know my customer is banking with me for a good amount of years. I know the services that he or she uses. I know what are their pain points. I know what they like. I know when they come to the branch. I know how frequently they come to the branch. I know which of my customers have never visited a branch in the last 3 years, but they're still a loyal customer to me. That's the information I need to start leveraging to build next generation products. While we do all of that, there's so much of insights that we can generate from that. An entire analytical portfolio can be developed and derived from the basic premise of how each of our customers use our existing solutions. If we are going to build such solutions, you have to also constantly think about your legacy systems. You have to think about how you can enable each of the solutions without going super busy on your existing legacy systems and not having to be worried about your next generation systems. You have to optimize your workflows. You have to optimize your systems. You have to start moving into the models of business performance, how your business can optimally perform with newer solutions. And end of the day, the business of business is business. You have to grow. You have to retain your talent. You have to retain your key infrastructure. And you have to continue to grow at speeds beyond competition. Otherwise, a bank of today will become a history for tomorrow. So essentially, what we talk or what we think about from a big data perspective for fintech really is, you have your wealth portfolios. You could do a lot of cognitive analysis today. That's what we need to offer. It's not rocket science for us to think that. It's the solution that has to be presented in its most accurate form to engage our customer. Deploy machine learning techniques. Customers are spending left, right, and center. Flipkart knows how many customers have bought how many products from their site in the last 1 year, and it tells you exactly whenever you buy this product, this other product might make sense to you. That's what we need to do from a banking standpoint. Risk is of paramount importance. In the last 1 month, we heard so many cases of fraud, so many cases where people have been tricked, with the best of infrastructures being compromised. If the police is smarter, the thieves are only going to get much more smarter, which means we'll be forced to be even smarter than them. So it's a never-ending chain. It's a never-ending loop for us. RegTech is again a focus area for all of us. Regulations are only going to get stricter, more and more difficult for us to comply with, but all in the interest of us and the customers. Knowing more about the customers is imperative. You cannot service a customer without knowing their needs. And that's exactly what happened with Nokia. They did not do anything wrong, but they did not understand what the customers needed. And that is what will happen with everybody, irrespective of the industry. And finally, if a fraud happens, you strengthen your system. While you've strengthened your system, how do you know it will not happen again? How do you know that a more advanced mechanism of attacking will not happen? It's bound to happen. It's a natural phenomenon. People love to break things. We have to continue to evolve our fraud systems, our compliance systems, our processes, all of